Ohio State trying to build off 2 road wins, up to a nice start, at least offensively, in the first half.
Well, they are. And the road wins had a lot to do with other people, other players stepping up. A lot of it was Sam Thompson and Shannon Scott. Swapping roles, so to speak. Okay, 20 points combined in that game. And you saw in the first half when these two are effective. Sam, we know he can do that, but now he's hitting the jump shot. Shannon's got a little bit more confidence, playing with an air that he has something to prove, okay? Off the bench, but yet in control. Knocking down jump shots, getting out in transition. When these two players can give Ohio State this kind of production, it really solidifies, I think, from a scoring perspective, other options that don't have to fall on Menzel Smith and Quentin Ross's hands.
So we saw the K Jewelers first half highlights. Now the 5-hour energy first half stats. Buckeyes shooting 43%, just 33% for the Boilermakers, but there's still time for the visitors Purdue. 20 full minutes left in this one. Purdue trying to win 2 games in a row. Second half in a moment. Here is today's Reese's perfect combination. Earlier in this one, Aaron Kraft and Sam Thompson.
Well, it's easy. I mean, just throw it to the rim anywhere close to Sam Thompson. Count it for 2, baby.
Ohio State on top of Purdue, 31-25 as we get ready to inbound for our second half. Our auto owners insurance game leaders. The freshman, Kendall Stevens, off the bench, 9 points for Purdue. Couple of 3-pointers, also had a 3-point play when he was fouled on a layup and made a free throw. Quentin Ross for Ohio State. He has 8 for the Buckeyes. Tied with Sam Thompson for the lead for Ohio State. Buckeyes starting to save 5 that began the game. Kraft, Smith, Ross, Williams, and Thompson. Same 5 on the floor for Purdue that began the game as well. A couple of Johnsons. Sterling Carter, Eric Peck, and the big man, A.J. Hammonds.
And let's see if they go back to A.J. Hammonds earlier. It worked well for him in the first half, along with offensive rebound, and that time kind of took his eye off the ball, but a reset opportunity for Purdue.
Something to keep in mind, Tyrone Johnson did not score in the first half for Purdue. He averages 12 points per game. Here's Johnson. Hammonds with the catch, takes his time, knocked away, still able to control and score. There was 1 second on the shot clock.
Initially, good defense by Amir Williams, knocked the ball away, but unfortunately it fell right back into the pocket of A.J. Hammonds, which was able just to lay it in right underneath the basket.
Hammonds now leads both teams in scoring, has 9. Aaron Kraft, the field goal. His first field goal of the game.
Here's an interesting thing about Aaron Kraft. You watch the Iowa game. He can do that all day. I don't know why he's as reluctant than to take that, because that opens up so many different things. He's so strong. He's so quick to the basket. He can use left or right. That option is available to him a lot.
Oof, face-up jumper by the 7-footer.
Oh, he can do that here. I mean, this young man has a wealth of talent. He can step out and shoot the basketball. It's just a matter of, you know, on any given night, which A.J. Hammonds is going to show up. But it's the good one. Oh, he's really good.
Buckeye lead is just 4. Ross has Peck on it. Didn't want to challenge him. 2 minutes into our second half. Shot clock down to 8. Kraft shooting from the hip, and he makes the jumper. That's a long 2. 5 points now for Aaron Kraft.
Not pretty, but effective. You know, but that's the shot also that he has to take off that pick and roll, particularly right there at the free throw line.
Johnson turns the corner, was bumped, no call. Ross the rebound.
And when you're struggling right there, even with the bump, that's a shot that Tyrone Johnson would normally make.
Bad pass. Ross is trying to get position. Stolen away by Hammonds. Nobody stopped the ball, and Ronnie Johnson scores.
An excellent decision that time by Ronnie Johnson, knowing they had the numbers. No one stopped ball. So you pull up for that shot. You know you're going to make it, but if you do miss, your guys are around for proper rebounding, offensive rebounding position.
Buckeyes trying to get over 500 in conference play. Ross. Wide open is Smith. It has been all seniors in the second half. Kraft and Smith doing work.
Well, moving the ball, the pump fake, Sterling Carter has to stay down on that. And once you commit to that, now someone has to help. You just leave Linzel Smith wide open in the corner.
Hammonds travel. Amir Williams didn't play a ton with 2 fouls in the first half.
Well, here it is. Once the rotation comes, he has to come out. Now you have this kind of rotation. The ball can now shift over to Linzel Smith in the corner, and it's tough. I mean, you want to force LeQuentin to take that shot over the top. You can deal with that, but when you leave Linzel Smith wide open in the corner, you know, he's going to knock that shot down.
And that's his sweet spot, too. I saw him take probably 30 jumpers from that exact spot in pregame warm-ups.
Well, he knows where he's going to get his shot on the court.
Kraft inside, spins one up, falls off the rim. Hammonds. Stevens back into the game. He has made 3 3-pointers. That's 12 points off the bench for Kendall Stevens.
About a shooter. Make yourself available. You get into the sight lines of your post player so you can receive a pass. A.J. Hammonds able to hit a nice outlet. Stevens slid right over into the path. Nice, easy, and smooth jump shot from the corner.
Ohio State leads the country in defense against the three-pointer. But they're having a hard time slowing down Kendall Stevens. Oh, blocked by the big man. Hammonds got a hand on it, and a foul. Somewhere to go. Amir Williams, the chance for the three-point play. Ball was loose, and the big man didn't give up. Amir Williams a chance for 3 points. A free throw when we come back. Just a gorgeous bit of hustle. Williams with the find.
Andre Hollins, I watched him play the other night. I was blown away that he was able to come back that soon off a third-degree sprain. I had that before. Again, I'm archaic, so the rehab has changed a little bit. But he didn't have the lateral movement or explosiveness that he had before, and as a result, didn't shoot the ball particularly well. So did he come back too soon? I don't know. But it'd be interesting to see this next game, how he's able to move and explode on the court against Indiana.
That's going to be a travel on Kendall Stevens. Got caught up in the air with nowhere to go. I like watching Yogi Ferrell play. Everyone talks about the improvement of Nick Stauskas. Gabriel Olasheni has come a long way. Yogi Ferrell, from what he was last year, a distributor, a defensive guy, to now a huge offensive weapon with an airtight jump shot. And this is going to go against Ohio State. It's on Aaron Kraft. First personal foul on the senior from Findlay, Ohio.
Well, you talked about Yogi Ferrell and the transformation from last year. Think about the roster. Zeller, Oladipo, Watford, Halls. He didn't have to do a lot. Knowing that this year he was their main scoring threat and outside shooting threat, he's really stepped up his game. But for Indiana, he also has to be a playmaker. That's when Indiana's tough because, like a lot like Purdue, other players are not really knocking down jump shots.
Excellent reverse. Beautiful reverse by Rayfeld Davis off a good feed from Stevens.
Excellent execution that time, and that little pocket bounce pass inside to a cutting Rayfeld Davis on the backside.
Foul called on Eric Peck.
Well, keep your eye right here on Rayfeld Davis getting right here to the basket, and all of the defense is looking at the basketball. So once you come off the pick and roll, Ronnie Johnson, that's just an easy pass right there. Again, you got to get down on the baseline. Keep your guy in front of you. Once he gets behind you, always susceptible to that backdoor cut.
I gave credit to Kendall Stevens for the pass. It was indeed Ronnie Johnson.
Now, Ronnie Johnson needs to talk to the statistician. He needs that assist.
Yeah, that's his game. Kendall Stevens will get by shooting those jumpers. Smith has made a couple of trifectas here in the second half.
Well, excellent job of LeQuentin Ross kind of screening two players. Linzel Smith was able to slide open for a nice, easy three. Not really good communication that time by the Boilermakers on the perimeter.
Jay Simpson has replaced A.J. Hammonds in the game for Purdue. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Stevens long two. Scott ahead of the pack. And a timeout called by Purdue. 7 points for Scott. The Buckeye lead is 10. Ohio State rolling, trying to win their third consecutive game. Shannon Scott continues the trend of improving offense. It's a Buckeye 46-36 lead.
Here's the Motorist Insurance Group drive to the hoop. I want you to keep your eye on this play. Transition defense, you talked about it. Freeze it right here. Ronnie Johnson is looking. Everybody else is inside the key. He has to get back here at half court to stop ball. When you're ball watching, a quick outlet pass, and now you can't get back, that's an easy layup. Coaches work on this all the time. Transition defense, transition defense. You know what you're supposed to do. You know your job, but then you don't do it. So fast break points, if you're Purdue, you're in this game, but when you give up layups, how do you expect to ultimately be successful when you're not paying attention to details?
Now, you were paying attention to the details in that commercial break. You said, you know what? Great finger roll by Shannon Scott, but he should have used the left hand.
Well, against Michigan State, he had that same shot, and I thought in that game, with all his momentum going forward, it's a tough shot to make with the right hand with a defender on your right shoulder. Use the glass with the left hand. That one on there, he was wide open, so I forgive him for that one. But a lot of times you have to be able to use both.
Trey McDonald picked up that foul. It's number 3 on McDonald. With 13 minutes and 10 seconds left, Thad Matta's going to trust him out on the floor. Lenzel Smith Jr. goes to the bench. Amadeo Della Valle in now for Ohio State. Stevens, Ronnie Johnson, Davis, Simpson, and Peck, the 5 on the floor for the Boilermakers. Simpson has it ripped away by McDonald.
You know why? He brought it down. You catch it, you put it right up. That dribble just nullified the great position he had down inside.
Scott. Now Purdue's going to try and get some offense right now without their 2 leading scorers in the game. Great pass. Ronnie Johnson finds a streaking Eric Peck.
Well, the beauty about that pass and the other pass to Raphael Davis on the back cut, it was a low bounce pass, but once it hit the deck, it bounced up right into the motion of the player, so we can go right in and finish.
Yeah, you put a little spin on a bounce pass sometimes, makes all the difference in the world. Johnson pokes it away. It'll stay with Ohio State. 15 seconds on the shot clock.
But just take a look right here at how low the pass is. Okay, it's low, but it gets there in time. So now the streaking back can just pick it up. You catch it, you pick it up as a bounce pass. Sometimes it would just lay there and not come up, and now you have to kind of pick it up by your ankle, and you miss your opportunity.
Scott, top of the key. A.J. Hammonds has re-entered the game for Purdue. Bryson Scott also in for the Boilermakers.
I like the last 2 shots by Scott. May not have knocked him down, but he caught and shot in rhythm with confidence.
Knocked away. McDonald got a hand on it, but it's picked up by Peck. Peck has the game's last 4 points.
Well, yeah, and Hammonds brought the ball down. Fortunately, in Purdue's favor, the ball just carried him right to another player, and you were able to lay it up.
Ross a ways away from the basket, bothered by Scott. Kraft, no hesitation. And the Boilermakers, down by 6, have the ball. Ton of time in this one. No one on this Boilermaker team has ever won on this court. Stevens with a hand in his face. You know, the first half he was getting better looks. Second half he's had contested threes. Jackson, I'm Eric Collins. We've seen what Kendall Stevens can do. Off the bench he's got 12 points, but he's still a freshman. There's still things he needs to learn.
Well, that last shot, you know, you want your freshmen to be confident, especially when you're rolling, to take shots. The last shot, when you turn away from the basket, I want you to keep your eye on Matt Painter right here. And Kendall Stevens is walking back. And the glare that Painter is giving him right now, I'm not going to really tell you what he's saying, but I'm going to decipher it like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? You're going to take that kind of shot. You have to be smarter in your shot selection. Now, that's the clean version of what I think Matt Painter was saying that time. But like all freshmen, you have to learn.
He's a good one. He's got 12 points. That's coming off a game in which he had 14 on Wednesday, establishing a new career high. Buckeyes have Amir Williams back into the game. Also Mark Loving in. This is Loving, the freshman from Toledo, swatted away by Hammond. He's got a fistful of that basketball. Now the freshman, so important to the future of this Boilermaker program. Stevens, Scott, Smotherman, all true freshmen. Simpson sitting out a year ago. And other than Stevens, a bunch of goose eggs in the scoring column for the other freshmen for the Boilermaker.
It was interesting in Bryson Scott's press conference.
Delavalli has to fire. That would have been a shot clock violation. Instead, it's a turnover and results in 2.
Excellent defense that time, playing defense without fouling, able to get out. But I was saying Bryson Scott talked about the freshmen hitting the wall of frustration. I mean, they felt tired. The games were not working, but they're trying to work through it right now. Extra shots, watching more tape. Asking questions on what they can do to get better.
Big shot with a long two-pointer. He was on the line, but Shannon Scott stops a scoring drop for the Buckeyes. Scott now with 9.
Yeah, great shot, but worst shot in basketball. You want to be behind the three-point line or 2 feet within it, and not on the line.
Just saw the 5 on the floor for Purdue. They're playing without Ronnie Johnson. It's Bryson Scott running the point. This is Scott. Tyrone Johnson. That's his first field goal, and it's a 3.
Big-time shot. I believe that time he knew the ball was coming out. He prepared himself, and he caught and shot it without thinking about it.
Had been 0 for 5 from the field. Buckeyes only up by 3. Williams hits the deck. This is a 5-on-4 for Purdue. And they don't take advantage. A.J. Hammond's called for running into Aaron Kraft. That's a tough foul for a 7-footer. Just trying to get position.
Yeah, but Aaron Kraft read this all the way. Look at him. He knows what he's doing. Okay, he's directing traffic like he's not paying attention and maintains his position. And that's tough for a big man he's not full speed, but he got a lot of momentum going just to stop all of a sudden and avoid Aaron Kraft. Aaron Kraft slid over just a little bit, gamesmanship, but it's also called experience.
Called a turnover is what it is. 10 of them now for Purdue.
But Purdue doing a much better job of taking care of the ball. Like I said, 18 in that first game at home.
Smith has been hot in the second half, and he continues to torch the nets. And the Buckeyes use a timeout with the lead back to 6.
Come back, Ohio State maintaining a 6-point lead over Purdue. Just a little something in the half court here, communication. Bryson Scott coming off the pick and roll. Aaron Kraft turns it down back toward Raphael Davis, but because he's so far off of Linzel Smith, now the switch is supposed to take place, but it doesn't. And that's communication, but it's also not being in the proper position in order to call the switch. Those little things like that, Eric, that's a shot that you can prevent. 3 points you can take back. But when you don't communicate, those things lose you basketball games.
Scott had a 3, didn't take it.
Hesitation, the confidence part of it.
Hammond just swarmed. Shot clock down to 8. Boilermakers in trouble. Someone's going to have to fire. Johnson does. Top of the key. Linzel Smith had an opportunity to throw a full-court pass to Amir Williams.
He was smart.
He was smart. Realized Amir in the open court.
He had to put it down a few more dribbles to get to the basket. So sometimes the best play is no play.
I think a couple years ago, Smith would have thrown that pass.
Yeah, well.
Would have been fun to watch. Now, this is where Williams likes it, but can't convert. Little too far away from the hoop. Scott, the pull-up. Missed opportunity for the Buckeyes. Boilermakers still with plenty of life. Only down by 6. Closing in on the 7-minute mark. Boilermakers trying to get to 5 and 6 in conference. A Buckeye loss would get them at 5 and 6. And a steal. Johnson just lost it.
He tried to make a pass once he was in the air, and it was just too much traffic inside, and the ball got deflected.
Ross has been quiet for a long while. Had it knocked away, got it back. And now they'll reset.
And look for a pick and roll right here with Amir Williams and Shannon Scott.
There's the pick. And there's the roll. Williams is fouled. You've seen this game played before, huh?
I kind of knew a little something, but that's what Ohio State wants to do. Ohio State in a pretty good position. Purdue trying to make a run. Can Ohio State hold off this pesky Purdue team? Come back and see. 51-45.
At the free throw line, Amir Williams, who shoot a pair, knocks home the first. Here is tonight's Staples. Make more happen. The great career of Aaron Craft. 3 NCAA tournaments, hoping to make it 4. A couple of Big Ten titles. And he's got a real good chance to be a 3-time academic All-American. Last Big Tenner to be a 3-time academic All-American, Chris Hill of Michigan State back in the mid-2000s. Nice hand, Amir Williams knocks it away from Hammonds, and Hammonds holding his right hand on the way back down the floor.
I don't know how many times I have to keep saying it, but both Amir Williams and A.J. Hammond, they both love to bring the ball down. And you're just baiting a guard to come in and smack it away. That's the first thing you're taught when you're a big man, to keep it high.
Lenzel Smith again!
Hey, I tell you what, that was an outstanding shot by Lenzel Smith. Rayfield Davis was in his face. That's a matter of just getting it up there, better offense.
Yeah, the other lefty on the floor, Ronnie Johnson, spins one in, but that's a 2-pointer. 4 3-pointers made by Lenzel Smith. They've all come on the left-hand side of the floor.
He's a lefty.
Is it easier for left-hander to shoot on the left-hand side, right-hander to shoot on the right-hand side?
I always thought that was better on the opposite side, because if I wanted to drive for a one-dribble pull-up, I would go to my left. But a guy like you, Eric, it didn't matter. You're just a shooter. You can shoot from any side of the court.
I just usually like to be on one side of half court.
Yeah, I got you. I understand.
Shot clock down to 3. Scott.
Ooh,
a little too long. Yeah. Smotherman. Tyrone Johnson blocked by Scott, who hits the deck hard. Oh, Scott is down. Quick with the 2, but a timeout on the floor as Shannon Scott is in pain.
Well, he's rolling around, but you like the fact that he got up quick. He had to probably lost his wind a little bit, because he came streaking out of nowhere, and he hit the ground without having any way to brace himself. Just watch him right here. This is excellent help side defense, and you get Tyrone Johnson that time, a little collision below right here, and you have no way to brace yourself. So all of the pressure coming down, you land on the outside of your hip, a little rib action. So probably a little more worried or scared about the fall.
Well, that's just only his 4th block shot of the year, and he's probably saying to himself, I'm not trying that again. It was an impressive bit of athletic ability there.
Or the elbow. The elbow. That time the elbow hit first. And I think that's what he was grabbing, his left elbow.
Nominal pressure in the backcourt for Ohio State. Johnson crosses the timeline. Kendall Stevens back on for Purdue, looking for a shot of offense. And a foul inside called on Amir Williams.
Ohio State foul number 23, Amir Williams, his 3rd. Team's 3rd.
Buckeyes trying to sweep the season series from Purdue. They also won December 31st in West Lafayette. And an unforced error, Ronnie Johnson just fumbled it out of bounds.
The little things on the road, when you have a possession, to cut into this lead, to get it, under to about 7 points, and right there you just mishandle the basketball. And those opportunities as you get later in the game, you can't give away those lost offensive chances. At least get a shot at the basket.
His second, team fifth.
Foul on Basil Smotherman. That's now team foul number 5 on Purdue. Kraft inside, nobody stopped it. 2 more. He's got 7.
But why would Ronnie Johnson play on the high side of Aaron and give him the lane to the basket? You play up underneath and force him back towards half court. Again, the little things, the attention to detail, and you start to see why Purdue loses some of these close games because of not making shots, but plays like the 2 we just saw.
Hammonds can't handle the entry. And now the Buckeyes in control. They can bleed some playing clock. They're right in front of the Buckeye bench, and Thad Matta says, you know what? Let's slow it down a bit. Buckeyes trying to win for a 3rd straight time. Smith from the other side. And a foul going for the rebound called on LaQuinton Ross. Purdue, they need some offense in a hurry. Down by 13. Lenzel Smith Jr. has done a lot of really good things. The senior, along with Aaron Kraft, have taken some ownership of this year's team, particularly after that losing scheme. They have really played well in recent games. Lenzel Smith Jr., our Quicken Loans, amazing performance.
Well, Lenzel Smith 4 for 6 behind the 3-point line. You mentioned all on the left-hand side of the court. Well, heck, I mean, if the Boilermakers are going to continue to give it to him, he's smart. Why would you leave? I would stay planted on that side of the court if you can continue to get those kind of looks. But you mentioned the fact that leading the way. Lenzel Smith, senior, he's been here, he's done that. When he's making shots, his defense picks up. The team feeds off of that. He opens up other opportunities. And then he doesn't have to try to force things to try to get closer to the basket.
Nobody stops Jay Simpson, and he throws it down. A convincing first 2 points of the game for the redshirt freshman.
A well-executed play out of timeout for Purdue.
This is an interesting lineup. So Purdue trying to get back into this game, and they don't have A.J. Hammonds or Tyrone Johnson on the floor.
It allows the 4 perimeter players to also to switch.
Ross with a hand in his face. That's a 3-pointer.
That time the freshman Stevens has to close out a little bit tighter to LaQuinton Ross, force him off the jump shot and force him to put it on the deck.
Buckeyes 8 for 18 shooting threes. That's a percentage. You can win a lot of games if you shoot. And a hold on Sam Thompson.
Number 12, Sam Thompson, his second, team split.
Just a hand in the back right there, impeding the process.
Was that a foul last year? No. But this year it is.
Yeah, impeding the progress. Again, it's, in the NBA, we used to get away with it because you had a bent elbow, but in college, if you have a hand in the back when it goes into a dribble, referees are going to call foul on that.
Stevens a little bit short on his jumper, and again, the Buckeyes in no hurry. Aaron Kraft will take this below 2 minutes.
I think you got to give it to the Buckeyes in regards to recovering from what was a tough January, kind of getting back to the fundamentals of what they do well. I think they got away from that during that losing streak. Their identity was lost, so to speak.
Kraft took a look up at the shot clock, knew that it was winding down. Still had time to get the pass to Williams and a foul.
And right there, Thad Matta is screaming at Aaron Kraft to shoot the ball.
He won another assist. Well, he's already passed Scott Skiles today in the all-time assist lead. He's got D. Brown, the former Fighting Illini, in the crosshairs next.
Well, sometimes the assist is not there. and you just need to take the shot. And it's easy for us to say, well, Aaron, you need to shoot it. You need to shoot it. But that young man has to have the confidence. And when he has the confidence, Eric, he's proven that he can knock down some big-time shots.
Saw it last year in the NCAA tournament.
Well, you saw some of the shots that he hit in the Iowa game. Okay? The shots we've seen here, off the screen, pick and roll, pull-up jump shots. So he's very capable of making those shots.
And the Buckeyes are going to be tested their next time out. They have got Michigan on this floor on Tuesday. Lenzel Smith continues to miss from the right side and make from the left. This is what it looks like in the next couple of weeks for Thad Matta's bunch. You got a game against Michigan next, then on the road against Illinois. You take on Northwestern, then home against Minnesota before a revenge game against Penn State.
But look at those games. You have the ability to take care of your home court, which is what you want to do. So you lock in this game, and now you're sitting back in a really good position. And the schedule is conducive to you going on continuing this run that they're on right now.
Now Purdue, on the other hand, their schedule, it is going to get hairy. They've got their only meeting of the year against Indiana next. Then they got Michigan State, Nebraska, Michigan, and Iowa.
You know what, honestly, Eric, I've designed the fact that everyone in the Big Ten this year, because how everybody's playing, has a tough schedule. I don't care where you're going to play, who you're playing. It's just all around tough.
And a foul called on Scott, trying to stay with LaQuinton Ross.
The second team 7 bonus.
It's kind of an odd game. You have the starting fives from both teams on the floor with less than a minute left, and the Buckeyes up comfortably by 14. Never an attempt to kind of stop the game with fouls. Matt Painter said, you know what, we played 3 overtimes on Wednesday. Let's just get out of Dodge. We've got an important 5 games coming up. So the Buckeyes going to take the season series from Purdue. And how about that, another steal for Aaron Craft. Just padding his stats. And the Buckeyes want 2 more. A steal and a dunk to close out the game for Ohio State. They will go into their next game against Michigan with momentum and confidence. There's your final score. The Buckeyes, with a convincing second half, they roll to a 67-49 win over Purdue. The Buckeyes now over 500. They check in at 6-5, while the Boilermakers, they fall to 4-7 through their first 11 Big Ten games. Sure hope you enjoyed it. First of 2 on a Saturday night on the Big Ten Network. Final score 67-49 for Jim Jackson. I'm Eric Collins saying so long.